everybody, welcome to Tad Talk again. It's Friday morning here, and I don't know what the temperature is, but it's hot outside, I can tell you that. I'm here once again with Nick. We're at TCS, Tad Creative Studios. We've been doing some fun things here this week. What a busy week. Whew. It's crazy.
And it's only Friday.
I know.
At the end of the week.
That started off as a blue jacket, and it's got all kind of red stuff falling out.
That's the heat.
That's
the heat. Yeah, that's literally pouring out of my jacket here. So
what? This can you turn around? I don't know if you can get this on the camera. Can I see the back of that jacket?
Well, if you look at my hair, I kind of wanted to wear a jacket that kind of matched the unruliness of what was happening with the top of my head today. There's really nothing much that a shower and hairspray could help today, but that's okay.
It's like a Chia Pet jacket.
Yeah, I just hold my nose and blow, and it just comes out.
Anyway, welcome to the show. Our guest today, as you can see behind us, is an incredibly talented man with quite the past that we're going to learn about. But check out this video.
We are so deeply fooled.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Bach.
Wow, that's a lot of color and a ton of innovation. Welcome to the show, Charles Bach. Charles, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. That's one of the better opening videos we've seen.
That's awesome.
You know, the first thing that strikes me, Charles, the Wonder Show, is it's so visually big. I mean, it's color. Amazing.
Yes, so my inspiration was, as a kid, I was a huge Muppet fan. The Rainbow Connection has stayed with me all this time.
No, absolutely. It's your magic is what Nick's jackets are to fashion.
I think it's a little better than that, I would say.
But we start Tad Talk as we do all the time with Nick's 3 random quick fire questions for you, Charles.
Yes. So Charles, the first question I have for you today is, you travel back in time with one person, but your time machine breaks while you're back there and you're unable to return. if this were to happen, in what time period would you like to be stuck, and who would you want to be stuck with?
That's a great question. I think I'd like to go back to the golden age of magic in the late 1800s, around the time of Houdini, and I'd like to take somebody really smart. So I'll take Einstein.
Nice. That would be an interesting trip, wouldn't it?
Now, do you mean Einstein as in Albert or Einstein as in Doc Brown's dog?
Yeah, I'll take the dog and the professor.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's great. All right, number 2. If you could have one celebrity narrate the rest of your life, who would you choose?
Well, everybody would say Morgan Freeman because his voice is great for narrating, but I'm going to say Donald Duck.
Nice.
It's a good one. I
That
like
is a
it.
good one.
Yeah.
Who would you say for that one? I'm intrigued.
Who would narrate?
What celebrity
Well,
would narrate?
It's one of two very similar voices, either James Earl Jones or Gilbert Gottfried. I think those two would do
It's a
eloquent.
very short one.
Hey, step it out of the shower now.
Interesting.
I think I would have to choose Robin Williams.
Robin,
That
yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great. All right, last one. If you could make one thing in the world disappear, what would it be?
Well, hang on. You just asked the magician.
I know.
He does it all the time.
It's very, it's very appropriate for the show that we have going on today. But yeah,
Well, the easy answer is the coronavirus, of course.
yeah. Gone.
If I had the power to do that, it would be done.
Yeah.
definitely. And then people would come to you and say, where were you 3 months ago?
I was hanging out with Einstein the dog.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the past.
What would you make disappear?
I'd make 2020 disappear. I
the
just go
entire
from
year.
December 31st, 1999 to January the 1st, 2021, and that'd be done with it, with everything. I mean, coronavirus, Liverpool won the league. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on. So we'll just forget 2020 and just move straight on to 2021.
Fair
You good
enough.
with that? What about you? What would you make disappear?
God. Maybe olives?
Olives.
Don't like olives.
Okay, don't make them disappear. Just give them to me.
Or how about this? I'll be a little more serious about it. How about just racism?
Oh, I'd like to get rid of that. That's for
Make
sure.
that disappear just completely. That would be great.
It's a whole new show, but wouldn't it be wonderful if
Yes,
we could
it
just
would.
make that disappear?
Absolutely.
Well, Charles is our guest today, and where are you located today, Charles?
Well, it is nighttime for me, and I'm all the way over in Europe right now. I'm in Poland.
Poland.
Wow.
Well, so how long have you been in Poland, and how did you get there, and how long have you been there?
So my wife is from Poland, so I'm with the in-laws right now, and we've been here about a month. I think we have another week or so, and it's been fantastic.
Great.
I mean, the weather is perfect. Unlike 110 degrees in Vegas, it's like 80 degrees here. It's beautiful.
That's perfect.
How did you meet your wife then?
So I met her on a cruise.
Nice.
I was working on a ship, and she finished law school and wanted to do something crazy, so she went to work on the ship for the summer, and we met, and she finished law school, went to work for a law firm, and she was the most expensive girlfriend I ever had, because I'd fly her to meet me, she'd fly to my place, I'd fly to hers, and then I'm like, it's cheaper to get married, so we got married.
Good for you. How long have you been married?
13 years.
Nice. That's awesome.
Lucky 13. I blame you for coronavirus in 2020. 13. Great. Well, you're an amazing talent, Charles, and obviously a wide and varied career. And I like to ask this of all magicians. My granddad bought me a magic kit, and I was useless. I can't shuffle a deck of cards. I'm useless at it. When did you start?
So I was about 8 years old, and my uncle showed me a card trick, and I just was amazed. So I stayed up all night long, tried to figure it out, and I figured it out. And then I did it the next day for my parents, and they said, "Did he show you how to do it?" And I said, "No, I figured it out." And I showed him, and he said, "That's amazing. You should keep doing this." And I did. I just fell in love with magic, and always been in love with it.
Oh, that's great.
No, it's great. How long have you been doing the Wonder Show? Because it's an amazing experience.
So the Wonder Show, you can see my inspiration. I don't know if you remember a magician named Doug Henning from Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
He was all about clouds and rainbows, and it's very much an inspiration for me. I'm like the next generation of Doug Henning, with all that kind of color and visual and theatrics. I grew up around theater and took dancing and all that stuff, so I just found a way to combine it all. And I've been doing the Wonder Show, I think, since 2004 or 3. Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. Wow. Have you seen the Wonder Show?
I unfortunately no, I haven't seen it live, but just based on what I've seen with the videos and what people have told me, it's very yes, it's all about magic and illusions, but it's also very artistic in its own sense, and beautiful, and almost like a mix between magic and Cirque du Soleil is what somebody told me it was like. So I really want to see it live.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, well, can't wait myself.
Yeah.
For those interested in the show today, when the show's over, immediately when the show's over, we're going to be playing Tad Trivia, and it's tadtrivia.com/Bach, as in Johann Sebastian Bach. I'm sure no relative, right?
That is a relative, yes.
It is?
Yes, so it's good to be back in the old country. Yes.
Well, tell us more. Tell us more.
So Johann Sebastian had 23 children, 4 of them from his first wife, and then the rest from his second wife. And a lot of the children went off in different directions. Some emigrated to the United States, and they emigrated in the Midwest around Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, that Chicago area. That there's a lot of Bachs in the Indiana, Illinois area, and that's part of my family.
Wow, that's amazing.
Gosh.
Have you delved at all? I didn't expect the answer. Have you delved at all into the ancestry? Have you learned any more? I mean, obviously we all know about Johann Sebastian Bach.
So
yeah, but go ahead, tell us about the ancestry.
We have a rich uncle in Indiana who spent a lot of money getting the family tree done, and they sent us this giant scroll that is quite long that has the lineage of how things went.
That's amazing.
So what relative then is Bach to you?
I don't know how many generations that goes to or what, but all my grandparents and great-grandparents were in the United States at that time. So it would be beyond that.
Yeah, so probably, I don't know, if it was 1700s, maybe 12 generations, 11 generations. So here's a tricky question for you, for your 23 great-great-great-great-grandfathers, if any of them are watching. But do you like the music of Johann Sebastian Bach, Charles?
I absolutely love it. It's actually like 23andMe.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, a serious question. Have you ever thought of using the connection, I guess, or the music in your shows?
Yes, so I use a Bach fugue in one routine that was composed with the Bach fugue in mind, but then variations beyond that.
That's excellent.
Wow.
That's great.
That's so cool.
I didn't expect that answer.
No.
Yeah, it's good.
That's really cool.
So we're playing trivia after the show. It's tadtrivia.com/Bach, B-A-C-H. And it's kind of a general knowledge magic, but maybe we'll throw some Polish questions in there because he's there. And maybe we'll also throw some Johann Sebastian classical music questions.
Yes.
Who's your favorite classical composer?
Now I feel bad if I don't say Bach, I'll feel horrible.
Well, let me ask this. Family heritage aside, Charles, who's your favorite classical composer?
So I'm a big fan of the guy that was born 6 years after Bach died, and his name is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Oh, yeah. Mozart is an incredible... if I were to choose one, I would have to go with Franz Liszt. I mean, if for no other reason than Hungarian Rhapsody, it is a absolute masterpiece. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go outside the realm here, and probably you're not gonna like this. Okay. But the classical composer I'm gonna choose is only not known as a classical composer because of when he was born, and his name is John Williams.
Oh.
Because had John Williams been born 200 or 300 years ago, he'd be known as one of the greats because his composing is tremendous and very classical based.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I did not think we were going to be talking about film scores and classical music in a show about magic, but this is cool. This is my wheelhouse. Absolutely. But since we're talking about music, let's talk about movies, because there's a lot of movies dedicated to magic. And are you a movie buff? Do you watch movies?
Absolutely. If it's related to magic, of course I would know it.
Definitely. My three favorite magic-related movies are The Prestige, Now You See Me, and I was going to say 21, but that's not magic. That's just illegal activities. So I'm not going to say that one. There's another one out there as well. I think The Illusionist is the name of it. So those three movies based around magic are probably my favorite ones. Do you have a favorite magical movie?
Those are great choices, absolutely great choices. And I did like The Prestige and The Illusionist. I thought they were very authentic to the reality of that time, that age of magic. That is the golden age of magic, too. Yeah. But one was more intellectual and logical and more masculine in its way, and one was more feminine and emotional and romantic.
Yes.
And they were very different, but very good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Aside from magic movies, since we're on the topic of movies, what's your favorite movie, if you had to pick one?
It's still the Muppet movie.
Oh,
really
the original. The original. I only saw that for the first time about 2 or 3 months ago.
The Muppet movie.
I only saw it for the first time, and I fell in love with it. It's just incredible.
And I want to play something for you right now. I don't know if you've heard this, Charles, but in the midst of the COVID-19 mess, Nick has been arranging some songs, and like he just said, he just came across the Muppet movie and the Muppets for the very first time, and heard Rainbow Connection, which is a wonderful song and a wonderful message. So we're going to play a little clip right now of Nick's arrangement of Rainbow Connection.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're all wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers.
How many vocal tracks were on that?
There were, gosh, I think I did count them. There were 73 vocal tracks on the on that song. But that being said, this episode is about Charles Bach. You've had quite a career, so we're going to go back into that right now.
We are. Hey, Charles, I've got a question for you about magic. And a lot of the questions we ask on this show is what if? They're kind of fantasies. But one thing we always get magicians talking about Houdini and so on, wanting to go back there. How do you think you, with the knowledge that you have and the skill that you have now, how do you think you would fare in those times? Whether it be from a marketing aspect or a skill, how do you think you would cope in those times?
I think it would be really a challenge because our experience now is more through a different type of media. Theirs was things slapped on the side of fences and trains and banners, and it was a very old style of marketing.
Yeah.
It was done through newspapers and through publicity stunts, and those kind of things are more difficult to do nowadays.
Interesting. Do you think, in sports, for example, as you go through 100 years, we get quicker, faster, stronger? Does the skill of magic keep getting better as time goes on, or is Houdini? If Houdini came back today, would he still stand up to everybody?
That's a good question. When it comes to music, I think Mozart and Bach stand heads above a lot of musicians that we see writing music now because they were more detailed and more refined and involving tons more instruments than we now, seem to see. But the same is true with magic. I think it's evolved with speed, but a lot of the evolution of magic has stayed the same. You see the same guys doing linking rings. You see the same cups and balls. All those things that they were doing back in the 1800s and earlier are still around.
Interesting. Wow. In music, things evolve, whether it be in the 70s, 80s, the introduction of synthesizers, and with people like Jacob Collier introducing new sounds and new harmonies. Is anything like that happening in the magic world? You see a lot of magicians that are doing variations on the same tricks, but how innovative can you get in the magic world now?
So it is very possible to be innovative, but I don't think everybody's comfortable with that. It's hard to start from the very beginning to recreate something brand new from the start. It's easier to take something like cups and the balls and do it to a new piece of music or do a new comedy routine or fit it to your own style. I think the innovations that we see are people bringing in other elements of their abilities. Like my combination is to bring in dancing, to bring in music and theatricality and color and visuals to illusions that you may have seen before, or I've varied it to theme it in a different way. So that's my contribution.
Interesting. Nice. It always intrigues me because magicians, I think today also get lumped into the same category as comedy magic. It seems to go hand in hand. How much of your show is comedy versus / magic?
Every time I talk in the show, I am usually leading up to something. It's either leading up to a new moment in the show, a new piece of music is going to be introduced, a new character, a new prop, or a joke. So everything leads to some sort of payoff.
Yeah.
Everything in the dialogue parts.
Yeah. We've been talking in this new virtual world, we've been talking about we're doing some master classes on our industry, how to perform on stage, how to prepare. And it's always interesting to me when you talk like that about the science of putting a show together and the importance, you can have X amount of tricks or X amount of songs, whatever it might be, but it's how you link them, it's how you form them into a show that really makes you from being someone who does magic to someone who has a great show.
Yeah, that's kind of the AGT of putting show togethers wouldn't work, because if you only have 90 seconds here and 90 seconds there, there's no way to weave it all together. That's the challenge, is how do you take all your pieces and then weave them together into a show that is coherent.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And many times that only comes with experience.
Yeah.
Has
there ever been a trick that you've seen by somebody else live that's just completely stumped you? That you've just seen and you say, how on earth did they do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Now, it happens much less now than when I first started in magic and didn't understand the principles, but there's a really cool feeling of like, how did they do that? And knowing I'm a magician, that's the reason I got into magic, was that feeling. So it seems like you're always hoping that's going to happen again.
That's awesome. And keeping on that subject as well, there's a duo out there that is a household name now. Everybody knows them, Penn and Teller. And they're just world-renowned. Everybody knows them. Everybody knows what they can do and what they have done in the Vegas scene. And there's a show out there, and I forget exactly what it's called, but the premise of it is that they bring magicians on stage. The magician does a trick for Penn and Teller, and they try to fool.
Is it called
Penn and
Fool
Teller.
Us?
Is it Fool Us?
I think
Penn
so,
and
something
Teller?
like that.
So a magician goes on stage, tries to fool Penn and Teller, and I don't know if you win prizes or what it is, but I'm pretty sure you went on that show and you fooled Penn and Teller with a trick. Is that right?
Well, here's what happened in the show. I did the performance, and Teller comes up to me, and he was going to describe how he thought it worked. And the first thing he said to me was, I won't tell what he said was the method, but when he said it, I said, no, there's a no helium tank, because the first thing he said was wrong. And then he kind of clarified it again and got a little more specific, and he was in the ballpark, I would say. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt because, I don't know, he's close enough. I said, he got it. And I get off stage, and the producers are like, you should have said no. They didn't know. They didn't know. It was not about winning a plastic trophy. It was about being able to perform on their show and perform for them. Because I watched them when I was a little kid in school. I used to go to the Microfiche and look at the magazine articles about them and their show when they opened in New York at the West Side Arts Theater off Broadway. That's when they kind of started.
Superb, superb. After the show today, we're playing trivia. We're going to learn a lot about Poland, about Johann Sebastian Bach, and about Charles Bach, and about magic. It's tadtrivia.com/Bach, B-A-C-H. You can go ahead and scan that QR code now. That's it, the big one. Just scan it, and that will sit right there on your smartphone or your tablet. Go on, Nick, put your head up there. There you go.
Hello.
And you'll be able to let that sit on your smartphone or tablet until this show finishes. And as soon as it's finished, we'll be playing. You can win $100 in Tad Travel Bucks, along with a bunch of other signed memorabilia. Also, don't forget our social wall. Our social wall is a cool little thing that we have on our website. This is it, where all the people have been on Tad Talk, and you can see Carter Calvert, who was on last Friday there, and Dane Cordine, and Michael Hanrahan, I think, was on last week too, on Thursday. Some great guests, along with today's guest, Charles. So go on there. All you have to do is go on Twitter and hashtag Tad Talk, and it will jump on here.
Yes, it will.
Absolutely. It's great. One of the things we also like to do is learn about the inner psyche of our guests. And we do that by asking you some really weird questions, Charles, okay?
Ooh, I love weird. Okay.
Yeah, weird, kind of like, why the hell would you ask me that question? So here's the first one for you. Charles, would you rather have constantly dry eyes or a constant runny nose?
Oh.
Wow.
I know.
They're a constantly runny nose. I will take the dry eyes because I can put onions nearby and I'll be fine.
Do the drops. Can you imagine a runny nose? I had a runny nose. I never get a runny nose. Probably too much information. I had a runny nose this morning for some reason. Don't know why, because it's 100 and whatever outside, but I got a runny nose. I know it's not COVID. I'm fine. Anyway, next question. Charles, would you rather your only mode of transportation for now to the end of your life be a donkey or a giraffe?
Well, giraffes are so darn cool. I'd rather have a giraffe.
Aren't they really?
Step over most vehicles in traffic jams with a giraffe.
True.
Yeah.
True, but the kisses they give you are sloppy. Those tongues are sticky and yeah. Actually, Tad Travel, you can win $100 on a Tad VIP experience. Next year, I think it's March, we are going to Giraffe Manor in Nairobi in Kenya. It's about 45 minutes away from Nairobi, and doing a Masai Mara safari too. Charles, have you ever been to Kenya?
I have not been to Kenya. That sounds amazing.
Oh, there's this cool place called Giraffe Manor, and all the rooms are on the first floor. And literally, you can the giraffe pops his head in and eats from your hand, and it's brilliant. They got baby giraffes, and they're well taken care of, and they're in the habitat there. And then we're doing safari. It's the kind of thing we do on Tad Travel all the time. But this one's going to be great. And that question actually was not a slick way to get into advertising that trip,
but it worked.
Anyway.
You would find a way with any question. You could find one with a runny nose if you wanted to.
I could.
Speaking of runny, why don't you run over to Tad Travel?
Yeah, maybe not. However, here's another question. Are you ready for this, Charles?
I am ready.
Oh boy, think about this one. Would you rather every shirt you wear be itchy, or only ever be able to use single-ply toilet paper?
Oh.
Well, I've been on ships long enough that I'm comfortable with single ply.
Fair enough.
I can't stand.
You just get more toilet paper off the roll, and then just fold it more times.
No, there's. So let me get into the science of toilet paper for a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So years ago, and I remember in England, the toilet paper did not come in rolls. It was kind of like a tissue box on its side, and it wasn't paper. It was like
coffee filters.
Like grease paper that you cook on. They just slid off your butt, So then single ply, not good. And then all of a sudden you've got these plush. It's like wiping your butt with a quilt. So definitely for me, it would be the itchy shirts.
Itchy shirts?
Yeah, itchy shirts.
Speaking of itchy shirts, I bet you're itching to go on a Tad travel trip with us next year.
Not at all. So Poland, it's the evening there right now. What's the weather like in Poland this time of the year?
So right now it's about 80 degrees. Every day has been just beautiful. We had some rain, and it just makes everything grow, and flowers are beautiful. And the food is amazing. Like, all the vegetables are fresh. It's like being in a Whole Foods at 90% off. It's amazing.
Oh, that's fantastic. Awesome. I've never been to Poland.
I really want to go to Poland.
Yeah, I've never been. We have two artists that live in Poland that we represent, and I've just never been there. Are you close to Warsaw?
Yeah, actually, we're between Łódź, between Warsaw and Krakow, right in the middle, in a town called Łódź.
Okay.
Nice. Are the hot dogs as good there as they advertise them to be here? The Polish dogs.
Oh, like a kielbasa.
Yeah.
Yes, they really are.
Nice.
So nobody buys meat in the grocery store here. They actually go to the butcher for everything.
Oh, wow.
That's
great. On the 4th of July, I made cheeseburgers for everybody, American cheeseburgers, and they don't have ground beef. So we had to go to the butcher and buy meat, and then grind it up to make
gosh.
Amazing. And just to clarify, in Poland, they don't call them Polish hot dogs, they just call them dogs, right? That was a joke.
That was great.
Nobody laughed, but it was a joke.
We're going to edit that part out.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Charles. It's been brilliant. For everyone, don't forget we're playing trivia. We've got one more question for Charles before we leave. But trivia after the show, you can scan that code now. tadtrivia.com/Bach, and you'll be able to win $100 towards that trip to Nairobi, or some other stuff too. Charles, we have a question we ask every guest on the show, and we'd love to ask you now. This is it. If you could spend the next 60 minutes with any two people, dead or alive, this could be historical figures or family, friends, people you've known or lost, anywhere in the world, you're going to go together with these two people. Who would you like to spend the next hour with? Where are you going to go? And what are you going to talk about?
Well, there's two people I think I would love to spend time with. Again, one of them, and it's my grandmother, who kind of encouraged me in the arts. She took me to acting classes and dance classes and told my parents, how to get me into the arts.
Great.
And I'd love to see her again. And I would take her, and I would probably take Doug Henning, who was a magical inspiration for me. And we'd go back in time, probably to when Broadway was big and all the vaudeville was big, because I'd love to experience live theater when it was when it was the king.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So it's you, Doug, and your grandma. Who would do most of the talking?
I do most of the listening, but my grandmother has no problem talking.
That's great. Have you enjoyed the show today?
Yeah, it's been awesome.
It's brilliant. I want to go down. If you go get a chance to go and Google Charles Bach and the Wonder Show, do it. It's great. And when we come back from the mess that is 2020, check out his show at a theme park, on a cruise ship, or a theater near you, because it is well worth watching. It's Friday. We're going to have an amazing weekend here in Arizona. I don't know what temperature it's going to be. I just know it's going to be hot. I'm going to the lake. That's what I'm doing tomorrow and over the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay negative, as in the other stuff, but stay safe. Wash your hands. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next edition of TED Talk. Bye.